Hey gang, you whippersnappers you. Kevin Goatee, gutting the sacred cow. How are you today? How's it hanging? I'm a little to the right with a little bit of stench down there. Did you need to know that? No, you did not. Good news, new week, new episode. Thank you so much for being part of our family. We truly appreciate the living hell out of you for that. Please continue for the 5-star rating, 2 or 3 sentence reviews if you have not yet done so. This week, Will Noonan is going to take on Meet the Parents, the film that your parents and grandparents probably love, but Will hates the shit out of it. So, thank you so much again for everything. We love you all. guttingthesacredcow.com. Don't forget to go there. Check out our blogs every day, as well as our merch shop. Without further ado, here's Will Noonan doing Meet the Parents.
Gather round, here's what I know. It's just that this cow has got to go. I know some people kinda like it, yeah, it's trending right now. Yeah, that doesn't matter, cause we're gutting the sacred cow.
Dylan, you son of a bitch. Kevin Israel, name that film.
Dylan, you son of a bitch. My favorite movie of all. It's my second favorite, my favorite action movie, Predator.
What's your first favorite action film?
No, that is my first. That is my favorite action.
Oh, I thought you said second. I'm sorry. Okay.
It's probably my second favorite movie.
Oh, all right. Well, that was a quick, easy one. I was hoping you'd get that. We bat 500 with you on these quotes.
Yeah,
maybe a little less. Kevin Goatee, Kevin Israel, gutting the sacred cow. Here we are back again. Everyone, thank you so much for continuing to give us those 5-star ratings and 2 and 3 sentence reviews. We love you. And don't forget, if you want to advertise with this podcast, as you've heard right now in the ads, or if you heard a few ads before the podcast has started, guttingthesacredcow@gmail.com. We want to welcome our guest today, Will Noonan. Will, what's going on, man? How are you?
What's up, boys? What's up, Kevins? How are you guys? It's great to be here.
Well, thanks for coming, man. We're doing all right. Will, tell everybody what you're up to and where we can find you.
I'm a comedian, sometimes actor. You can find me at willnoonan.com or on Twitter, on the Noonan, or you can find my YouTube show, The Noonan Show, on YouTube, and also we have merch.
Word.
I'm holding.
I like it.
Bill, how many times have people told you sound exactly like Christian Slater?
I get it all the time. I do radio spots. I do like voiceover, so people write letters to the companies like, did you get Christian Slater or a guy that sounds like Christian Slater? Yeah. The nice people say Jack.
You do a great impression of somebody.
Yeah.
A couple different, yeah, brother man. But they, like the nice people will say Jack Nicholson, but I know what they really mean. They mean Christian Slater.
She's kind of a cunt. No, what's up, from?
It's like I just smoke a lot of pot and I have a deviated septum. That's all you need to have a solid Christian Slater voice.
You an Elvis man? I'm an Elvis man. I can't.
Elvis man.
I can't even.
I don't do a lot of impressions, but I like to do Nicholson from Chinatown. He's like, I like my nose. I like breathing through it. That's
we got busting the nose. I know Chinatown's a good one. I like that film. It holds up. Excellent.
That's a good movie. A movie I like all the way through.
And unlike Chinatown, Will has picked a film he flat out fucking hates, hence the theme of this podcast, and that is the 2000 hit Meet the Parents.
Mm-hmm.
Budget of $55 million, a box office haul of $330.4 million. Turn that into 2021 dollars. Sure, I did the math. $84.6 million budget. $508.2 million haul.
You know what's more amazing to me about those numbers? We recently taped E.T. and E.T.'s budget was $29 million. And I realized that was a number of years before Meet the Parents, but still, They made ET for $29 million, and this movie cost $55 million.
And ET had
Yeah.
better ET had better special effects than Ghostbusters, as I want to remind everybody.
Son of a bitch.
It's also now we know why there were like 5 sequels to Meet the Parents. Those are some pretty sweet box office numbers.
No, we know the reason why. It's because it was in the Post this weekend. De Niro's ex-wife has a real hankering for Stella McCartney.
Was it $200,000 a month she's spending on her credit cards?
I mean, can't
Oh,
you just
so-
yeah, a hitman is cheaper. I just want to point that out.
So that's why De Niro started getting into comedies and stuff. Because that was my whole. I was like, this film marks the beginning of like, what the fuck is Robert De Niro doing right now?
Oh, we
Like-
get into that. Hold on, Will. You're like a coked up Christian Slater ready to fire away here. Let's get there it is.
Yeah.
He's ready to make
Like
cuffs. He's ready to make cuffs too right now. IMDb, as we know, is a scale 1 through 10 with decimal points. Hey, Will, what do you think Meet the Parents scored on IMDb?
I guess because they're pretty kind over at IMDb sometimes. I'm gonna guess like a 6.4.
Kevin Israel,
7 flat.
7 flat on the nose.
Ah!
He's back, baby. Wow.
Out time.
we missed you for
That's how you do it, Noonan.
Tell me, Will, do you have a brother named Danny?
No, but
Damn
people
it.
ask me that a lot.
You
And
get
I
it
was at
all the
the-
time, though, don't you?
I do, and I was at the ball game today, and people yell Noonan, like at the ball players. They still do that. Like
Do
when a
they
guy's
really?
about to, a guy was going to catch fly ball, and people in the crowd were going Noonan, Noonan, Noonan.
Oh.
I'm
Miss.
Jake.
Miss.
like, it's been so long.
You got it. Your parents missed an opportunity to have a sibling for you named Danny, and that.
I have cousins. I have a cousin named Danny Noonan, and
Tell me-
he loves golf.
Is he a looper? Caddy, looper, jock.
Yeah. He's got that going for him.
I'll be here all fucking day. If I don't get me started, I'll be here for another hour and a half. Rotten Tomatoes score is a 1 through 100 percentage based. Kevin Israel, what did the critics give Meet the Parents?
I got it. 63.
Will Noonan.
This critic, I'm gonna go a little lower. I'm gonna say 59.
84. Wow.
What?
I'm surprised you guys went that low. I knew the critics liked this one.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This was very well revered with critics. Now
I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember it being like popular, almost like a Jerry Marshall type of like movie. People were like, "Oh, it's feel good," and I was like, "There's nothing feel good about this movie."
You mean Gary Marshall? I thought you meant
Gary Marshall, yeah.
Audience score. Will, let's see.
But who is Jerry Marshall?
I don't
is he
know.
anybody?
It's his cousin who is the third PA on League of Their Own. Pulled that right out of my
He's
ass.
good though. He's one of the best in the business.
He's like the Ron
Sorry.
Howard. He's like the Cliff Howard to Ron Howard, but behind the scenes.
You're absolutely right, and
Thank
it's
you.
Clint Howard. So look who's
Wow!
we're correcting each
Son of
other.
a bitch.
Here, Kev.
Son of a bitch.
We got
1 and 1. Even-
1 and 1, bro.
Even Stevens. Will, give me the audience Rotten Tomatoes score for Meet the Parents.
Oh, like 90% because it's dumbass country.
Kevin Israel, what say you?
Yeah, I always think if the critics are that high, the audience is lower. But I know this movie was huge. Yeah, I'm gonna go 88.
79.
Damn it! I should have gone lower.
Yeah. Quotes. $13 for a bottle of Mums. You can get a lot of Mums.
Judah Friedlander.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pre-dirtbag look. The obvious, I have nipples too, Greg. Can you milk me? And I think the best line of the film, if Florence Nightingale would play a little defense over here.
That scene was all right. Yeah.
Best line.
There's not, it's not that there's not moments. Yeah.
Kevin Israel, what quotes do you have?
You telling me Jews don't pray?
I knew that was coming out of you.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, other than that, all the other obvious ones.
Will, what about you? Any quotes?
One of my favorite quotes from the movie is when he goes, "Hey, I figured no better role model than Christ." And he said, and then De Niro says, "Greg's Jewish," and he goes, JC was a Jew. You're in good company. I like that. I like that part.
That was a good line.
Nice, nice sort of condescending work there by Owen Wilson.
I wish I was at Kevin Israel's house to watch this as he watched it, because every time De Niro reminding Stiller that he was Jewish, I could see Kevin Israel punching a pillow going, God damn it.
I've dealt, but you know what? As like all those stupid little oh, we're gonna say something that we think is like nice to say, but it's actually a little bit offensive. I dealt with all of it because I mean I was the only Jew in town growing up. So like every time something Jewish, like a holiday or something, they'd be like, well, Kevin knows about that. I'd be like, no, I'm a terrible Jew. I don't know about any of this shit. I don't have anything to say about any of this.
Kevin, these are coupons. You know what those are, right?
Kevin, I can't work this out.
A big house.
Could you work out the tip on this bill, Kevin? I can't figure it out.
All right, today we're learning business with the difference between wholesale and retail.
Kevin Israel, go.
12%.
12 and a half is easier for the number for the 1/8. Listen, this is all fun and giggles. We could sit here and do Jewish stereotypes all fucking day long.
All day.
Lord, that's Kevin Israel's wheelhouse, not mine.
Until the sundown when we're not allowed to do it anymore.
For 4 more days, you son of a bitch. You're good. I like you.
My beautiful circumcised penis.
It's now time, though, for Kevin Israel. It's now time for Will Noonan, because I detect a bit of acidity in his voice when talking about Meet the Parents. So let's not hold the man back any longer. Let's let him go ahead and gut the sacred cow.
Good work on that, guys. It's not easy on Zoom, you know.
No.
I enjoyed the symphony of your voices much more than I enjoyed this film. I'll tell you that. I want to say I saw this. This was the first movie in my life that I ever walked out of in my whole life. That's why I chose it. When I was probably an 18 or 17-year-old when this movie came out. I was in senior year of high school. And as I rewatched it today, I was thinking, you know, of course I hated this movie when I was a 17 or 18-year-old, because that was an awkward stage of my life. And this movie, you know, is all about this awkward guy in these awkward situations. And I think I just had enough awkwardness in my life. And that's what I thought, like, as the movie started, because I'm giggling here and there and I'm laughing. But then I'm like, you know what? I'm starting to feel the same exact feelings I felt in high school. I hate these people, and I feel bad for Greg. Even though I think if you look at this movie objectively, it's about a couple in a relationship that's rushing into things. 10 months is way too soon to be getting engaged. Then he's weird. He's friends with all the kids in her class that she teaches at their 10 months. He's close enough with a bunch of 5-year-olds to get them to help him with an engagement. I don't like that. That's weird. And also, you could never trust a room full of kids to keep a secret like that in a million years. But I think if you really just look at who Greg is in this movie, he's just an incredibly cool and tolerant guy with some moderate social anxiety issues. Like, he may say the wrong thing from time to time, but I think for the most part in this thing, he's just being repeatedly insulted, sometimes racially,
sometimes
for being Jewish. His manhood is being questioned. There's anti-Semitism being thrown at him. And I remember thinking, I was watching the scene where he said grace, and I remember being in the theater of people at the time laughing at how like stupid this guy was trying to say grace. And I'm like, if you watch this scene through a 2021 lens, it's like extremely endearing that he's trying so hard to like please these people and be a good guy.
He made it right.
Yeah, the whole movie I'm watching this just going like, Greg, like, you're better than these people. You're better than Pam. You're better than Robert De Niro. One of the only people in this movie I kind of like is Blythe Danner with her boozy wine glass. She just comes in every scene like, oh God, what's happening here? And that I like. That I won't take anything away. But De Niro, bad and careless ex-CIA spy with a strange sexual fixation on both his daughters and his mother. That one scene with the urn totally lets you into the fact that him and his mom had some weird fucking sexual relations that he's now working out with a cat. Then you get Pam. Yeah, toilet issues. Come on, we all know that's related to your mom and sex and all that stuff. Pam, who Ben Stiller is for some reason fallen in love with so quickly, is a total sociopath, if not possibly a psychopath. She's one of those women who has a job like a nursery school teacher, but at the same time is hiding this entire engagement that she had with Owen Wilson. When you see the pictures at Owen Wilson's house, they obviously were a serious couple. They went skydiving together. They went on like 5 or 6 vacations together. And she just doesn't really let him know how serious this was. So that's like a huge issue. He should never like continue. There's like 15 things in this movie where he should call the engagement off because of her. Right. So then, and she doesn't really have his back until like things get really out of control and she's finally like, Dad, but she lets him walk all over him into that point. So that was one of the things I think, you know, I kind of can laugh at the movie here and there, think it's a funny movie until that big scene where like everything is ruined and they finally have that big confrontation and the family throws Greg out and Pam takes the side of her father and everyone else and he goes to the airport and the whole tone of the movie changes right there. It becomes like a drama for like 25 minutes. And I remember the scene I walked out on as a teenager, there was only like 15 minutes left in the movie. It was on the airplane when Ben Stiller starts being an asshole to the stewardess on the plane. And I'm like, now no one in this movie is likable. He just called her stubby and ugly and like it has sticks in her hair. And I'm like, she's just trying to be a stewardess. Then he gets arrested. Robert De Niro sits down and basically just says, you know, I thought about it and I'm sorry. And Ben Stiller goes, okay, you know, you completely were an anti-Semite. You like ruined my whole life. Like your daughter's a psycho. She lied to me about a million things. And I don't see a single possible scenario where spending any more time with you people is in total, utter despair and misery. But you know what? Because you asked so nicely, I think I will just put this all behind me and go home with you and like set it all up. And I hate movies that fucking end like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just a movie about a bunch of assholes who like are mean, you know what I mean? And then the guy you think is not an asshole proves himself to be a huge asshole on the airplane to the stewardess. And then you walk out of the theater going like, I think I just had anxiety for 90 minutes and I don't really feel like that was a good time. So that's how I feel about Meet the Parents. Good soundtrack. Love the soundtrack. Owen Wilson, I'm a big fan. Blythe Danner, I'm a big fan. And there were moments where I laughed, I got to say. And I do like a subdued Ben Stiller as compared to what he became later in his career. But I think this was a shitty movie. And it was the beginning of De Niro being like, isn't it funny when I'm like, you know, I'm like in a comedy. Because I'm normally not in comedy, you know?
It sounds like you didn't. It sounds like you probably didn't like The Comedian.
Which one was that? Which one was The Comedian? Oh, was that with Jerry?
That was one. That was one where Jessica Kirsten smoked him on stage, and people tried to think that De Niro was funny in that film.
Oh, you know what? I couldn't even watch. I can't watch things about stand-up comedy, and especially something like that. But I do remember when they were filming that, and like every comedian in New York was like, "I'm best friends with Robert De Niro right now."
Yeah.
So many pictures with De Niro.
Oh yeah. My asshole fucking sent shivers up my butthole watching that film in those scenes. I go, nope, that doesn't happen. Nope, that doesn't happen.
What was the movie, the Adam Sandler movie about stand-up?
The way where he's dying and all that with what's his face?
Which is just a weird movie. Like it starts out as one movie and then ends up as a completely different movie.
Yeah, 2.5 fucking hours later, Apatow, cut that shit down.
Yeah, what was that movie? I almost said Punchline, but that's not. That's the other one. But
you think of Punch Drunk or
Punch Drunk Love?
Yeah, but that's not it. It's
the beginning of it, the stand-up stuff. I just remember being like, it doesn't work like that. Like
No.
it's never as clean as they make it. Even when they try to make it look like a grind in movies, it's never like that. It's never like you just have to do a few shitty gigs and then it works out.
35 minutes later, he's the goddamn warm-up act for a fucking morning show. Yeah, that's
always like that. Yeah, it's always like
most of comedy for comedians is more like The Wrestler than it is like any other.
Yeah,
other comedy
hang out in high school gyms with fucking degenerates for $25 in merch and autographs.
Or
That's
like-
exactly what comedy's like.
Finding yourself in a hotel room in a small town at 10:30 with nothing to do and no one to talk to, and like I'm not going to sleep. You're on New York like 1 o'clock time. That used to happen to me. I'd be like, it's 10:30. I'm in Pennsylvania. I know no one, and I would just sit there. That's being a comedian.
Time to break the record of jerking off in one day and go.
Exactly.
I did a show out in PA. Kev, you can cut this all, obviously. I did a show out in PA a while ago. It was out in like Amish country somewhere at a hotel club that I can't even remember the name of. And the show and I was like running late to get there, and I couldn't get anything to eat. And I think it was 2 shows on a Friday. And by the time it was done, I was like, is there any place to eat? And they're like, well, there's a Wawa or something up the road. And I was like, that's fine. And I ran out, and there was this group of women who were in the show who were like, hey, comedian. They didn't even remember my name. And I saved my name like 5 times in my act. And they were like, hey, comedian. And I was like, hey. And they're like, we liked your show. And I was like, okay. They're like, come here, come here, come here. And I was like, all right. They walk over and they were like, we're going to go back to her house and do some drugs. And they said drugs, which is something you don't say when you're going to do drugs. And they're like,
undercover cops do.
Yeah. And I was like, no, I don't. I just turned around and left.
Yeah.
Like that's the last thing
never ever go.
Out in the middle of Western PA, do drugs.
Never.
So I already know. I already know all I need to know. And the answer, the question was going to be, were these women less than a 4? And the answer is yes.
I mean, what? Nothing in that story should have made them a more than a 4.
Yeah.
As soon as you said Western PA, I'm like, coal miners. That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
Hey, Will, give me a scale. Give me a number on the old 1 to 10 scale for Meet the Parents from you.
I'm going to give it a 3 because it's not a total waste of time. You know, there's some funny, especially the first 20 minutes. There's some real funny moments, but I give it a 3 out of 10, especially for such a big hit. I just don't get it.
Got it. These notes brought to you by guttingthesacredcow.com. I got my own t-shirt here. God damn it, Will Noonan.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Go to guttingthesacredcow.com every day for new blogs or a list of 10 movie news, movies we've seen. That doesn't happen. Movie quotes, all that shit, as well as the merch shop at guttingthesacredcow.com and GTSC podcast on Twitter. Give us a follow, give us a like. You'll love the way you look, as Men's Warehouse says, right? That has no bearing in this fucking conversation. Thought I'd shoehorn it in there. Well, that guy's a creep with the voice.
We'll take the sponsorship, Men's Warehouse.
Yeah, Men's Warehouse. We'll wear your suits on camera. Notes, Kevin. I'm going to go first this time.
Please.
The opening scene, the very first 5 seconds we see. My question, you fellas, is this: is Ben Stiller wearing lipstick? His lips were very, very, very red.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. My first thought was, is it HD? Is it like they didn't wear as much makeup in the late 90s? I'm like, what is it that something is different about his look? And it was probably the lipstick.
Did I rent this in SD on Amazon like some of the reviewers do?
Yeah.
Next.
I don't do that, bro. I splurge.
Yeah.
Will's got that kind of cash.
Yeah. We paid $4 like adults do.
About that Doge.
Yeah, the Dogecoin. The second episode in a row we talked about this. How the hell did Ben Stiller get those kids to do that proposal without a parent doing a search in the Megan's Law database? That's my first question.
Completely irrational. You should know from that moment the movie's going to be weird.
The daughter, his girlfriend, she calls De Niro daddy and jumps in his arms and spins around. At that point, if that's me, I immediately get in my car and head back to the airport.
What was the other movie we talked about that where they call, what movie was it where I was like, if you call your father daddy, get out? There was at least 2 other movies.
It was Get Out. That was the movie. It was Get Out.
Oh shit, you're right. It was Get Out, and then I think it was also Dirty Dancing.
Get Out. That's hilarious. Get Out and Get Out.
It's a good rule for real life too.
Yeah. You meta sexual.
I meant to do that. That was
I know.
Comedy.
These are the good old days when De Niro did not take every role thrown at him, including community college plays that air on public access. This This film is the epitome film for dumb people. Here's why. They telegraph the shit out of all the plot points. Hey, we taught Jinx the cat how to use the toilet. Jinx can't survive outside. He's an indoor cat. You might as well flash a neon fucking sign out there saying, Jinx is going to go outside. Something bad's going to happen in 20 minutes. Stay tuned. De Niro is male nurse shaming. Someone is about to get canceled. I find Ben Stiller as funny as breaking out into cold sweats while holding in diarrhea as you're stuck in gridlock traffic. Minute 25 in, nary a smirk. Fun fact about Kevin Goatee, someone ever whips a poem out to read at dinner, I whip out my car keys to leave. Shut up, Robert Frost, and pass the fucking potatoes. That's all I'm there for.
Which would be worse, Kev, a poem or a dance routine?
The dance routine, because only one person's involved in that. If it's a routine, two are, and it's a conspiracy, and I'm fucking out of there. I don't know about you guys, but watching Ben Stiller eat green beans with his hand and not a fork angered the shit out of me. What a savage.
I do it.
I do that too. I eat too many things. I eat bacon with my hands too.
I eat bacon with my hands too, but green beans, not with your hands, you fucking savages.
I caught some looks eating bacon with my hands recently.
Do you really? I don't know anybody who eats bacon with a fork, to be honest.
No.
Yeah, if you eat bacon with a fork, I'm suspect of it.
I put you in the same class as those who use a knife and fork to eat pizza if you eat bacon with a fork.
Those people should just be killed.
But I'd also say if you put ketchup on your bacon, you're a fucking weirdo.
That's
I've never even seen that.
Chemical sterilization. Although I will add a caveat. My wife makes amazing chocolate covered bacon where she does baker's chocolate, mixes it up, puts it on the bacon, throws it in the fridge, cools it off. Half an hour later, you're jizzing your pants. I promise you, it's fucking good.
I always thought it was gross, and then I actually had it. And
so good.
Like, this is
delicious.
A surprisingly good treat.
It is an eye-opening moment. I'm terrible at Photoshop, as we've seen during the early episodes where I would Photoshop us on our episode art cover until the lovely guys at STSC podcast do our work for us. I'm terrible at Photoshop, but holy shit, those photos with De Niro in his basement were about as realistic as Real Housewives' lips.
Those were so bad. I thought the same thing. I was like, wow, guys, could you like take 5 more seconds on this? Like an actual pencil eraser to just smooth out the edges.
I actually thought that was part of the joke. I thought it was no.
Bad. They tried to pass that off as like a legit, like that, Okay. Martha Focker. Oh, we get it. His last name is Focker, which is close to fucker. Wow. This is genius. This film is perfect for middle America who says, oh, don't you know I love this movie because they don't use cuss words, but they're almost cuss words. And if you say cuss words, I want you to answer a hot iron twice, one for each ear, dummies. Fun fact about me. Thank you, Will. Fun fact about me. I've made it a point to have sex with every girl I dated in her parents' house, specifically after I was told not to. And now that I have a daughter, God damn it, I'll be putting up creepy photos, urns, everything in my house to dissuade my daughter from doing the same thing when she reaches that time, because that is not fun.
You're like Mark Wahlberg. Now I pop both your cherries.
Oof.
Oh, God.
You'll see me in a Philadelphia Eagles jersey on my body and a dildo on my forehead before you see me wearing a cable knit sweater. Hey, Irish people, they're not fucking fashionable. Stop it.
Those are the cool. I've been gifted so many of those in my life, and they just go right to they just go right into storage. They're like pink installation. I just have boxes of them in my basement collecting dust.
They must make the best jizz rags known to man.
The next episode of Storage Wars, they're going to be like, we got a whole container of cable knit sweaters. Who
Yeah.
does this?
If my basement ever like burst into flames, it would burn for 2 months.
And it would smell like burning sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be the great sweater fire of Boston to 2021.
It smells like potatoes and fucking Jameson. Here's another film that goes on the Mount Rushmore of black people saying fucking white people. Ben Stiller's character gives 0 reasons why she fell in love with him. He's a douche. He's not a douche. He's a dork. He wanted to become a nurse so he could do several specialties while taking care of patients. That's the one and only factor that I can buy into her saying, like, I like this guy. He's a big pussy. He's a big beta male. I don't see how she falls in love with this guy. There's nothing to him. He has no backbone, no spine, no nothing. He's not funny. There's nothing about him that's memorable. He would be the perfect FBI agent. Ironically, De Niro plays the FBI agent. At least Owen Wilson, who I fucking can't stand, he has at least attractive qualities about it, which I get. God damn it. I want 3 things in my house: an indoor pool like Owen Wilson has, a sit-down Spy Hunter arcade game, and wall-to-wall nudes of Ma Fratelli from the Goonies. Is that too much to ask? I don't think so.
That house was beautiful, though. I was like, man, Owen.
Indoor pool. That's when you're like, I made it. Fuck you guys. I made it.
Wouldn't want
Another
indoor pool.
Why?
It's another thing that makes the daughter
always feel like they're dirty. Like it feels like it's always like dank. Like
I know what you mean, but
so outdoor pools with
smell.
leaves and pollen and dead animals flying their way in their pool, because Donna and Greg had a fucking pool. I know you had it too. That's much cleaner? I don't think so.
Hey, listen, we only found 2 dead muskrats in our pool, and we got
Imagine if you were home, if you met a girl and you were in her hometown and she brought you to her ex-fiance's mansion to play water polo and made you wear a Speedo while you did it. Would you break up with that person? Like,
no, I
or
would
not.
I would fuck her in her ex-fiance's bathroom to prove my point. Or on the laundry or the washing machines, because
not to go off topic, but I like how no one in that water polo game was like, hey, Greg's the most in shape guy here.
Right.
Yeah, he was ripped to shit. I was like, God damn, Ben Stiller hit the fucking weights hard.
Yeah, like no one was like, oh,
Good
Greg,
point.
you're like an amateur bodybuilder.
Right. He read that script and was like, I have to be in a Speedo. I'll be working out for the next 6 months.
He probably was on Tropic Thunder training for that.
Yeah.
Like if this movie was a documentary, like everyone would have been like, well, I guess Greg's cool. Like, fuck, I'm sorry, man. Like you can be part of the family.
The mom, I'm sorry, I went ahead of myself. The first time I legit LOL'd in this film was the, hey, Florence Nightingale, play some fucking defense. Like that was the first time I laughed watching this film, just to give you an idea where we're going to go. The mom, Blythe Danner, jumps into the pool fully clothed because her daughter got a bloody nose. Ready? 1, 2, 3. That doesn't happen. Even my mother, the kraut of all krauts, would have taken a look at me and went, 2 or 3 Kleenexes, you'll be fine. Even in today's day and age, someone hits himself in the pool, or even if they're drowning, someone is going to drop their pants, take off their shoes, and make sure their cell phone is not in their pocket before diving in the pool to save their drowning kid. That's my promise to you.
Ooh. I once jumped over a brick barrier in a mall, outside a mall, and I slammed my knee into the corner and left a chunk of my flesh on the corner of the brick barrier. And I looked and I could see the bone, my kneecap bone. And my mom took me home and put bandages around it. And I was like, shouldn't I go to the hospital? And she's like, you'll be fine.
80s.
And I still have the scar.
Neosporin and Band-Aids.
80s kids, man. We survived.
Yeah, we sure have plenty of scars. The Mountie strap-on dildo that they found in the luggage is fucking hilarious. Because can you imagine how much better that show You Can't Do That on Television on Nickelodeon would have been? Can you imagine Alanis Morissette wearing that in the show while fucking someone in the ass going, oh, sorry, I don't know what the fuss is all about.
It would have been funny if they put it in the slot and just randomly. So once in a while,
I don't know. They get dildo sitting in the head.
Dildo again.
Yeah. What do you think's in the burgers? I heard that.
That show.
That show
literally,
Yeah.
3 people listening to this know what we're talking about.
I know. Oh, I know. Listen, as long as those 3 are laughing, fuck
Yeah.
the rest of you. Google that shit. It's a sad, sad, sad day when you have to see Robert De Niro in a beret.
Yeah.
Dude, are you kidding me? He beat up mobsters and he was ace fucking Rothstein in a casino and he's wearing a fucking queefy beret. Not my hashtag, not my De Niro.
Yeah.
If Ben Stiller truly wanted to race and beat Robert De Niro home, he would have punched it like Dominic Toretto through those red lights on his way home to a barbecue and Coronas. Kevin Israel, I expected more out of you on that one. Thank you for your feedback.
I was Googling something about that scene that I needed to find out. But
all right,
you can have any beer in here as long as it's
Corona. Why, and this ties into another that doesn't happen moment. Why does everyone button mash when typing on keyboards in the movies? That woman at the flight attendant at the airline checking him in for the ticket to go home was smashing those buttons as I smashed tri-deltas in my fraternity days. That doesn't happen. Just like in, again, 40-year-old virgin, they're playing fucking Mortal Kombat. They're going, no, that's not how Mortal Kombat is played as someone who plays and still plays a lot of Mortal Kombat.
I hate when they hold the controller in a weird way.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the
which
worst.
means you don't play video games.
Yeah.
Stop it.
I hate that.
If they had a weed consultant on set for Pineapple Express, one of those PA nerds should have been like, Mr. Rogan, this is how and Paul, what's Ant-Man's name?
Rudd.
Paul Rudd. And Mr. Rudd, this is how you hold a controller, not like you're trying to do a telegraph. Yeah. Not like you're whipping eggs for scrambled eggs, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. You're supposed to be dead behind the eyes, just like
Ben Stiller's flight leaves at 2:36 a.m. When the fuck was the last time a plane leaving after midnight? That doesn't happen.
I gotta say that I missed a 3:30 flight to DC right before COVID. So
they have flights that early. I thought, listen, I didn't think
it was idiotic of me to try and save $100 and be that stupid.
You sound like my brother flying connecting flights to save $50.
Oh, that's a lesson you have to learn the hard way. That
he did.
Avoiding connecting flights is worth whatever the upcharge is.
I don't fly I fly the Caribbean every year for vacation. I don't do connecting flights. If it's on a straight shot, I don't go.
That's a rookie mistake.
De Niro, it's 23 minutes until his flight boards from LaGuardia. Me watching at home. So help me fucking Christ. If he makes it from Long Island to LaGuardia in 23 goddamn minutes, I'm going to throw this remote through this fucking TV like Mariano Rivera did in 1999.
Pre 9/11. Remember that.
Does it? It's still physically impossible to get from any part of Long Island to LaGuardia in 23 minutes. I'm not buying
that is true.
Ben Stiller does a kung fu kick spin around to a spy camera in a picture frame to talk shit to his father-in-law to be. Kevin Goatee would have done a 5-minute roast followed by rubbing the camera on his taint. That's the difference between Ben Stiller and Kevin Goatee. This film is loved by people who think the TV show Friends was funny. This film is so ballless, so cookie cutter, so vanilla, so office humor appropriate. The jokes are beyond lazy and the storyline so paint by number. De Niro was one of the bright spots. Who was the funniest person in this film? James Remar. That's who the funniest person in this film were. In this bright doldrum of a comedy, in quotes. Absolutely zero chance. And by the way, Will, the remote test, if at any point you stumble upon this on cable while you're flipping around, do you drop the remote and go, yep, I'm good for the next half hour, hour and a half, whatever? Absolutely zero chance of me rewatching this ever again. Complete failure of the remote test. This film can be summarized by 3 scenes. Can you milk me, Greg? Pool volleyball, and I'm watching you, fucker. 3 out of 10. Fuck this film. This film is for dumb people, and it stinks. Kevin
Whoa,
Israel,
love it.
the floor is yours.
So I never saw this movie before.
Hmm.
I thought I saw
I'm
this
shocked.
movie.
I'm very surprised.
I never saw it. I don't like Ben Stiller.
Me neither.
I've never liked. I don't think I've liked anything he's ever done. The only movie I liked that he's done was Tropic Thunder.
I hated that film too.
I liked it, and I like it because of Robert Downey Jr. I thought I saw this because of all the you hear all the quotes, and it's almost like the Mandela effect. Sooner or later, you just think it happened, and then the movie started, and I was like, oh, I knew basically what it was about, but I didn't know how the whole movie went. And this is the least amount of notes I've ever took in a movie. Kevin covered pretty much everything because I was watching it and I was like, I have nothing to say about this. It's just stupid. Like the whole movie was stupid. Here's the thing about a movie making 101, movie writing 101. Have a character people can like. You can have a bunch of assholes, but there needs to be one person everyone can get behind and say, all right, I like this person for whatever reason. There was nobody likable in this movie. Nobody with any redeeming qualities. The protagonist of this movie, Greg, is what we would call what Jews call now I'm blanking on the word. This is how bad of a Jew I am. Forget it. I can't even remember.
Just describe it.
Like a sorry, he's called a nebbish.
Yes.
Which is basically a pussy. He just sucks as a character. He's just a big pussy. And he's dating this girl who has a manly jaw, which really blew me away. That she had more of a pronounced jaw than he did. And I thought that was funny because it was like, oh, well, he should have the strap on. The whole movie, there was nobody decent in this movie. And this movie follows a pattern that a couple of movies we've covered on this podcast, where you know who the bad guy was? The girlfriend.
I knew that was coming.
Just like Karate Kid and just like Footloose,
yep.
She starts all the problems. If she just stood up to her parents once and went, Dad, you're being a dick, cut it out, none of this would have happened. The whole movie, there would have been a movie. But instead, she just lets it happen and then just keeps going, oh, Greg, I didn't mention this. I didn't say that we were going to my ex-fiance's mansion where you're going to have to play in a pool with him. What? First of all, there were the 10th minute at their house, I would have left. I would have been like, listen.
I wrote that exact thing down.
It's only been 10 months. I'll find another girl. This is ridiculous.
That's
like you're not that hot. I'm a male nurse. I know a bunch of hot nurses. I'll work it out. Everybody was an asshole.
I'll get this $5,000 back. This $8,000, whatever he spent on the ring. Totally agree.
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna go get my money back, and I'll go hang out and wherever we are now.
I'll go bank pharmaceutical reps. Everything will be fine.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Kev knows how it works in the healthcare field.
Yep.
It's a very incestuous business. It's not hard. There was nobody likable, nobody to get behind, and everybody was a bigger piece of shit than the next. And the mother, who you thought was supposed to sort of be okay, still never said to, even when she was like, oh, give him a chance. No, you say to the guy, you're being a dickhead, Bob, whatever his name was in the movie. Just stop being an ass. It's crazy. The very famous lie detector scene. I would have been like, no, I'm not taking. What are you crazy? You fucking weirdo. No, I'm going back to bed. I'm going to jerk off on your couch. This is it's just crazy that he sat there and was like, yeah, I'll do this. I hate it in movies where people act in ways that a real person wouldn't. And in this movie, it was supposed to be set in reality, and nobody was behaving like real people would. And Greg never did anything. Greg never stands up for himself. The whole movie, he never once really, he says stuff under his breath, but he never says anything. If he just once said to Robert De Niro, dickhead, nurses do all right. If you're a nurse for 10 years, you're actually making decent money, by the way, asshole. And the whole movie was just fucking ridiculous. And all the jokes were stupid. Kevin said it perfectly. They telegraphed every joke because they know the people watching this have the IQ of a guava. So they're like, well, we better explain this to them because they're not going to understand why it was bad that the cat got out. And then like even the stuff that happened, like the cat, so it was the different cat that was calm the entire time, and then they leave it alone and it just tears up the entire room. Like that's not how animals work. You would have known that that animal was a maniac from the get-go. You don't just
you can't just steal a cat.
What's that?
Like, if it was that kind of cat, it would have shredded him up when he tried to steal it.
Right, yeah. And cats, by the way, and I'm not a cat guy, but cats don't behave like that. Cats aren't massively destructive animals where they're really, like, I could see if you got the wrong dog, if they came home with the wrong pit bull, and it was just like, oh shit, but a fucking cat. I hated everything about this movie. Literally, I hated everything. The only scene that made me laugh was the urn scene when the urn falls and De Niro goes, oh, like something about his reaction felt very real. Like it felt very like that. That was the one moment where I really, really laughed. By the way, the drag race, a Mercedes big body V8 sedan would crush a Lincoln. There was not even a question. It was just never happening. Even in the 2000, that Mercedes probably had 300 plus horsepower. That Lincoln didn't even have 2. That was such bull. Since I never saw this movie, I was like, oh, he's gonna crush the race, and because he's in the Mercedes. That was utter.
I thought the same thing. Worship. And also, did you notice that they were having like they would rev the engine with their facial movements and hand movements?
Yeah.
And I was like, is Stiller doing that? Is he like on purpose?
Right. And by the way, you can't really rev an automatic's engine unless you
not like that
park. And they weren't doing it. But that's neither here nor there. That's the most minor problem with this movie. This movie sucked. This movie
I thought that was
terrible.
Great.
It made me angry. I always feel like Ben Stiller is like the poor man Steve Carell. Like Steve Carell does the socially awkward thing so much better than Ben Stiller. But Steve Carell can also do other stuff where Ben Stiller is just this awkward guy who's always like sort of he's the same guy. This is just like Melissa McCarthy.
Thank you. He's the same fucking annoying twatsome fucking character in every fucking film. And I absolutely, Mystery Men's good. No, it's not. Night at the Museum is good. No, it's not. Reality Bites is good. No, it's not. The only film he actually was all right in, and it's only because he had another cast of characters who kind of offset his annoyingness, Something About Mary. And even that, although good at the time, still kind of like, it's all right now. It's not bad. It's not as great as we remember it, that's for sure. But that is the only film I can tolerate Ben Stiller in. I can't stand him, and I cannot fucking stand Jack Black. Both are horrible.
I like Stiller in Dodgeball. I just want to say, give the guy. I
hate that fucking film. That's the one I hate the most. That film
but I liked him in it. I thought he was like at least trying something. You know what I mean? At least
he wasn't. Like the guy. He wasn't just himself.
Yeah, the guy from Reality Bites.
I just watched Thunder Force with Melissa McCarthy.
Oof.
And it was terrible. It was as bad.
Who is that movie for, man?
What's that?
I've been discussing this like with my fiance. I was like, I can't understand if you're an Octavia Spencer fan, like you don't want to see the movie really if you like dramas. If you're maybe a Melissa McCarthy fan, you might want to watch it because it's like her typical shit. But if you're like an action movie superhero fan, you're probably not a Melissa McCarthy or an Octavia Spencer fan. It's just like this, and I hate the fucking sing along, like "Kiss from a Rose" thing that's in the trailer.
It was as bad as it was. Probably worse than you would think it was.
It looks just like
it just proves that Melissa McCarthy is the same character in every movie. She just changes the levels of like obnoxious, socially awkward, loud, and that's what basically Ben Stiller is the male version. Like he just ups how socially awkward or annoying he is,
and he makes silly faces like he's like like he's having a bad reaction to a medication he's trying, or he's trying to say he's choking without being able to say that he's choking.
Yeah, Melissa McCarthy, her comedy trick is she goes, "Oh, my undercarriage," or "Oh, my crotch," like right.
Oh, I shit my pants! Yay, good for you. All that Second City really worked out for the best, huh?
If your whole comedy angle is, oh my God, ladies shouldn't be saying that.
Yeah,
you're bad at comedy. Like if that's your whole thing,
then-
But here's the thing: Melissa McCarthy is good. Like I watched that. Can You Forgive Me? And she's great. You know why? Because she's not Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ben
she
Stiller's
could've been.
comedy trick. Ben Stiller's comedy trick is he just gets finally pushed to his limit. He's like, "Listen here, you silly little goose man. You think you're a little baby man, but you're not. You're up there doing your little thing, man." And like then he does, that's his thing. He does everything.
He goes, you know, I just watched Ace Ventura for the 434th time. Let me try and channel Jim Carrey without the talent.
I can do that. So yeah, it's he and the reason I think Something About Mary is redeemable is because it was the first time most of us saw Ben Stiller in any of these kind of roles. So
it's a great movie too.
So and I mean that was like the first of it, but then he just kept being that same guy, just amplified throughout his filmography, and this movie was bad and it was painful to watch. It wasn't.
Something About Mary was kind of like the birth of this like embarrassed Ben Stiller genre that existed for like a decade, you know?
Right. And then, you know what? And if you look at all his other movies that you like, they're Along Came Polly.
Oh, won't even bother.
What's his name? Who's
Philip Seymour Hoffman?
He was the diving instructor who ends up sleeping with his wife. But he's famous at I can't remember his name. He was funny in that. Because he's just this ridiculous character. The rest of the movie was terrible, but I always think of that movie and I'm like, I think I like that movie. But then I realized I just like his character for the 5 minutes he was on screen. And that's what Ben Stiller does in a lot of his movies. He has these other characters who you're like kind of like, and then you forget, oh, but I hate Ben Stiller. So yeah, I unfortunately, and I apologize for not having more thorough notes. I just had nothing to say about it. It's just a bad movie. And I give it a 3.
Kevin Goatee really said it all too. I mean, he really nailed it.
Kev covered it. The two of you did your job.
Kevin Israel, this is a first. All 3 of the people on the show gave it the same exact score. 3.
Wow.
Never happened before.
That means I picked a good one. I feel good that like I picked a real stinker.
Yeah, Kevin and I, we've agreed on our scores the same, but sometimes the guests have a different one. But I've never 3s are wild today, kids. Dealer's choice. Let's go. 7 stud. Ante up. Critics 5-star reviews. Meet the Parents isn't as funny as There's Something About Mary, nor as outrageous, but it confirms that Ben Stiller is the best of today's young practitioners of frustration comedy. I think it's more frustrating that people actually hailed him as a comedic actor. How about you guys?
I like the term frustration comedy.
I know. I didn't know that was a thing.
I think it's how I feel when I'm doing comedy a lot of the time.
Yeah. Like, why aren't you quitting?
Then if you do frustration comedy, I do disappointment comedy.
I think check spots are frustration comedy.
Check spots are like the Meet the Parents of movies.
Yeah.
Alas, poor Focker, he can't help himself, and we can't help ourselves from falling about equally helpless at this superbly antic movie.
Yeah, fuck you.
Contains enough belly laughs and sly jokes to become one of the bigger crowd pleasers of the fall. Belly laughs from who? People that always laugh at someone who says, "That's what she said." That's what I think. Astutely observed, subtly played, and consistently hilarious. Here's one that made me yell, "That doesn't happen." A definite must-see that's perfect for a guy's night out or a relaxing date. Hey, Kevin, hey, bros, you want to go see Boiler Room, Requiem for a Dream, or Meet the Parents? Nah, let's just go straight to the bar and lie to women to get laid. This film is almost too real to be funny. It is one uncomfortable moment after another, and that's what Stiller does best. But director Roach would have done well to tone it down a bit.
Interesting critique.
Yeah. That's why no one should take what critics say seriously for fucking nanosecond. Critics, 1-star reviews. Never before have such two skilled actors been so monstrously squandered in a movie so replete with failed gags and pathetic gaffes.
Who were the two actors besides? Who's the other actor besides De Niro?
De Niro and Stiller. Is that what they mean?
No, they meant James Reborn and Blythe Danner. Overbearingly cruel and only modestly funny.
I agree with that.
Plays like a 30-minute sitcom that overstays its welcome for more than an hour.
Yeah.
Meet the Parents is a one, well, maybe two joke idea that starts out goofy and fun, but soon runs out of verbal or visual ammunition.
That was another thing I noticed after, like, my memories of this franchise were more of like the Barbra Streisand, Dustin Hoffman sequels. And then, even though it had a budget of 55 million, I was like, wow, this doesn't look as good as those other movies at all. Like, and doesn't look like, you can't see that budget at all. I bet most of that 55 million was salary.
It's just a
Salaries.
salary.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like, because does not look like it at all.
Maybe animal training for Jinx the cat, but that's it.
Also, I must say, the guy who delivers the package, like the guy who shows up with like, he's like Greg, like he's got his luggage from the airline. He's a comedian named Frank Santarelli who lives up here in Boston now. And I see him all the time. Like, so I see him constantly. So it was like pretty cool to see him. He was also the bartender on The Sopranos. But
where was he bartender? In the Bada Bing?
At the Bada Bing.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the one that gets his ass
beaten
kicked
up.
by
Okay,
Tony.
yeah, okay, I know. I rewatched Sopranos like 6 months ago. It's still fucking great.
And this was all in that period of time, So it was like he was hot. He was getting some good parts. So this was,
now he's doing checks. Now he's doing check spots at Nick's Comedy Stop. Poor bastard.
He's still doing just fine. But I mean, this was like his rock and roll days where he was like, I'm going from the set of Meet the Parents to the Sopranos set. You know what I mean? Like in Jersey. But you
know how it is.
It was cool to see him. Like I was like, but even he was like not in it enough. And I'm like, it's so funny that they got like a stand-up to do that. Like it was just like, here's your package.
They got Friedlander to just be the guy at
drugstore.
The drugstore.
Yeah.
Amazon 5-star reviews. Oh Lord, it somehow got funnier. How does that even happen? I literally, yes, there were tears, cried with laughter during some of the most cringeworthy scenes. My 13-year-old daughter had to leave the room a couple of times because she couldn't handle the escalation and humiliation. My younger daughter screamed with laughter. I'm going to bet you boys this. They have a stitched pillow or stitched sign in their house somewhere that says, "Bless this mess."
I was going to say, those sound like the fake reviews that I write for myself on iTunes. Come on.
This guy's not a queef. So the next weekend I went in and found myself howling out loud, doubled over about how crazy and deliriously funny this picture was. I hated the whole ad campaign as much as those dumb commercials on TV by an unnamed hamburger chain. But while watching Meet the Parents, the context of these scenes were fleshed out, and the result was equal parts nonsense and intelligence. It made the film a first-class winner, the funniest picture of the year. Please note that I pay to see more than 50 films a year, and I don't do it for a living. Seeing movies in the theater are a joy to me, and time is more important than money. Meet the Parents lowered my expectations going in, and it came out a winner. Big time. It's on my list of the top 10 pictures released in 2000. I think this person also pays for sexual intercourse some way or somehow. There are a few more in this that are just cringe, like butthole pucker up cringeworthy. Show me a man that's Show me a man that's gentle and kind, and I'll show you a loser. That's it. Greatest movie ever made. Watched it every night of my 8th grade year of middle school, and I'm happy to let you know that I know every single word to Meet the Parents, LOL. This movie and The Wedding Singer are all you need.
Oh, imagine being friends with the guy who's always quoting meet the parents every time he gets drunk. I can milk. Can you milk me? All right, John.
I got $20 saying one of two things, probably two of two things. A, he was a theater major in college. B, he's an improv class student right now at UCB.
So yeah, I was gonna say, to me, it's like totally like, I grew up Mormon. PG-13 was the most I could get.
Yeah.
So this is my American Pie. Like this is
the second best thing since Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
Also an egregious piece of shit. Next one, my favorite movie. If you can't laugh at this one, you need a personality transplant. Paging Dr. Goatee and Dr. Israel. Paging Dr. Goatee and Dr. Israel. I have seen this movie.
Personality transplant.
Right?
If you can't laugh at this one, that means you graduated high school.
Oh, barely. At night. I have seen this movie several times, but I still fall out of my chair laughing at some of the classic slapstick scenes. Okay. You fall out of your chair laughing like I fly Spirit Airlines. Both of these don't happen. Lap slapping funny. Is that kind of like block rockin' beats? Did I miss something there? Or?
Definitely not lap slapping funny. Come on. That's insulting to laps and slaps.
Whenever somebody says lap slapping, I think of comics who, when they hit their punchline, they slap their leg. And it's like, it's that. It's
or
like
the mic on the leg, like Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
I call that the Pavlov's dog treatment.
100% what it is.
Yeah.
I only did that
comics
once.
do it.
I did it once in my life after watching Chappelle. I watched Chappelle and I did a set and I did it. And I was like, you unbelievable fool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank God it was like
weak-minded idiot.
Did you
sit? I was like, what are you? Yeah, exactly. You weak-minded fool.
Did you sit on a stool and chain smoke 15 cigarettes and do 3.5 hours?
But I totally did do the thing where I like laughed at my own bit and I was like, okay, like control yourself.
And then I come back and find Key and Peele stole my show.
Start doing bits about my Black childhood.
Yeah. Remember on the set when I was talking about the racist KKK guy who turned out to be a black guy? Oh wait, Clayton Bixby. That's it. Amazon 1-star reviews. This movie stressed me out. Too many bad things to happen to this poor guy. Not my kind of slapstick. This movie stressed you out. I would love to introduce you to the New Jersey Turnpike, chopsticks, and the anal rape scene in Requiem for a Dream. That will stress you out.
True.
Not sure how this can be a comedy. Disappointing. No story plot. Foul humor. Expected more, especially with Ben Stiller.
I like that. That was Kevin's review.
Yeah. This person eats a lot of Salisbury steak microwave dinners, I bet. The movie drags on and on and on. And once you thing this young man, I copy and paste, I don't fucking edit. Once you thing this young man is in the clear, here comes some more stuff to mess with him. It just gets tired. And I'm sorry, but De Niro should stick with dramatic roles. He's not funny in this or analyze this. Ben Stiller has talent, and it was sad to see him wasted in this predictable movie. Boy, I can't wait for the second one. And yes, they are making that. Thanks, Hollywood, for taking this bad idea and running into the ground. That's it. I'm done.
All caps?
Kevin.
Yes, it was all caps. 3 more. Strap in.
That's the Kevin Brennan like review. That's what it sounded like. I'm done.
You forgot the N-word. Listen, readers. I am going to make this short, which he did not, or she. This movie has about 2 good laughs. This humor isn't so bad it's good humor, similar to something like in Nothing But Trouble. That movie, Nothing But Trouble, is what they referenced.
Geez.
Yeah. It is just plain bad. I have seen horror movies that have funnier comic relief than this provides for the running time. And if you think that is a turnoff, it seems as long as The Stand. You ever wondered why it says there are 39 used copies for sale? That is because everyone wants to get rid of it. De Niro and his agent must have been on Puff the Magic Dragon. On a good side, the acting as well, and Owen Wilson is cool, even in this wasted role. Overall, too much attempted humor and not enough real humor. 1 star out of 4. By the way, I have never heard the word good mixed in when discussing the film Nothing But Trouble. How about you two?
No, and I don't like that random shot at the stand. Why are you even bringing the stand into this? Why are you trying to?
Because it's the only thing the guy knew that was long.
Yeah. The acting
it's a great book.
Yeah, it is a great book. The acting is plain old grotesque and wooden. Even the most wooden, even worse than the horrible writing and flat jokes combined. You can't say bomb on an airplane. Bomb, 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 bomb. If you want to laugh at 2000 comedy material, stick to the trailers of this film, parentheses, which are strikingly more funny than the film itself, Chicken Run, or the unintentionally amusing sci-fi action thriller Battlefield Earth. And P.S.
What?
if you could, P.S. and if you think nothing can flaw it more, it's also boring as well. How many episodes we in now? 70 something. I've never heard Chicken Run nor Battlefield Earth referenced in anything we've ever done. And
Battlefield Earth was truly just a dog shit movie.
Guess who saw that in the theater? This guy.
Whoa, really?
Guess who walked out of that film? This guy.
John Travolta.
Chicken Run was like a number one, and Chicken Run was like a number one in the UK too for a while. So that was probably a UK review, because they were like they referenced Chicken Run like we reference like Citizen Kane. Okay? No Chicken Run.
Signed John Cleese. No. Not excuse me. Not only was this film not funny, I found it achingly sad to see an actor of De Niro's caliber to be starring in a film which relied on so much physical comedy, bathroom humor, and unclever wordplay devices. Oh yeah, like Focker is such a clever, funny name. Whatever. I thought I was watching a film by those idiots who made There's Something About Mary. Hey, those idiots also made Dumb and Dumber, so go shove a fucking hot poker up your urethra, you cunts. The premise is believable for about 10 seconds. Then all this mumbo jumbo about De Niro's character being linked with the CIA and mixing that with his odd attachment to a cat, a bizarre Oedipal thing for his mother's ashes, and poor poetry interpretation skills, coupled with the horror of painfully watching Blythe Danner try to sleepwalk her way through her role, was torturous. Add this to the simple fact that Ben Stiller is not funny. The headline of this last review says everything we need to know. Ready? Yeah, well, people buy Backstreet Boys albums too. There are not enough words to express. That caught my eye in a heartbeat. There are not enough words to express how bad this movie is. It actually made me squirm while watching it. If you like Something About Mary, which was also painful to watch, although it had a funny moment or two, CPR on the Dog was a highlight. You actually might like this one too, but it is even worse. If you'd like to see Ben Stiller in a movie that is actually funny and has some heart, check out Keeping the Faith.
I don't know that movie.
Me neither.
Ed Norton and him actually it is a cool, pretty good movie. Ed Norton plays. It's weird too. Ed Norton plays a priest. Ben Stiller plays a rabbi, and they they are both in love with Jenna Elfman, and
definitely a fiction tale. Definitely a fiction tale.
And Ed Norton directed it. And it's a rom-com. So weird.
Jenna Elfman putting asses in the seats, huh?
It's a very strange movie. And it's just weird because what's his name? Ed Norton plays a priest who's like struggling with the fact that he's in love with this woman, but he plays it very like just gay. So it's like I thought the whole movie he was just gonna come out as gay at the end. Like I thought that was the point of the movie, but
no.
He's just gay for the Lord. He's gay for Jesus.
Kevin
Unlike
Israel.
Gaylord, who was the name of the Greg
Zing.
Zing.
That's where the name comes from. It all comes together.
Call back. Kevin Israel, did Will Noonan gut the sacred cow?
Will Noonan did gut the sacred cow.
Aha.
But I will add that this gutting was like the end of Death Proof, when all of the girls sit around Kurt Russell and just beat the shit out of him. And then finally, Will Noonan face stomped him. That's how this gutting worked.
Yeah.
Did you randomly come up with Death Proof, or did you see that I was also hating Death Proof the other day? Or is that just a random?
No, I saw somebody else post that actual clip of that scene of all three of them just beating him. I don't know.
That's so weird. I just watched that like not that long ago, and I did love that part of it. But I was like, "There's some long, boring scenes in that movie, man."
It takes a while to get to the point.
Yeah.
And Kurt Russell licking her feet was just like burned into my feet.
Yeah.
But
Okay, Tarantino, we get it. What is Kurt Russell not awesome in?
He's the man. He's my hero.
One of
He's my hair hero. As I age, I want to get more into the Kurt Russell hair department.
I get there, bro.
I'll trade for that. I agree that that gutting was apropos, but I will say this didn't take much to do. This was just a slight boop, and that cow fell over because this film fucking stinks. You just delivered the coup de grace. You know, you gave the old Toro Hanzi sword to the jugular and just put them out of their misery and took it out. But this film fucking stinks. People who defend this film are fucking stupid. That's the bottom line. That's what I've taken out of this. So congratulations, Will. You're 1-0 on this podcast.
That makes me feel very good. And thank you guys. This was a fun podcast to do, I must say. There's a lot of homework, but I enjoyed it. I'm a hard worker. I
appreciate your notes, and I appreciate you taking the time to do that. Hey, Will, why don't you tell everybody yet again what you're up to, where we can find you?
Check out the Noonan Show on YouTube. Right here. We got some merchandise. There are links there too, but that's every day we have content, 10 minutes or so.
Nice.
Every single day. And it's a lot of fun. I also have albums on all the places you can get them, and willnoonan.com is my website. So, and Twitter, all that shit. I'm easy. Will Noonan. Just type it in.
Fantastic. And if you ever need to do a voiceover for a Broken Arrow video game, they know who to reach out to.
I do it for free. I'd just do that for free because
you heard it here
would be
first.
such an honor. Yeah, sign me up. Or the one where it rains. Remember the one where he just fights rain? He's like, won't stop raining, and Mississippi rain or something like that.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
What was the name?
I'm a small town sheriff.
That was it like Hard Rain or something like that?
Was
it? I'm right? Oh my God.
Yeah, Hard Rain.
Pull that right whoop out of the ass. Wow, that's fucking
Was Stallone in that too? I feel like there was a big action.
I think Morgan Freeman was in that, right?
Yeah. It was Mini Driver,
Oof.
Christian Slater. It's a flood. It's like, what are we gonna do? It's raining.
That was the back when they were just taking every like natural element and turning it into a monster.
Yeah, that's because
this is what's coming to get you this time.
Yeah,
watch out.
I blame Twister, which also spawned Dante's Peak, which also spawned Deep Impact, which also spawned Armageddon, which also spawned Dark Rain, whatever the fuck we just said, Dark Rain, Heavy Rain, whatever the fuck that is. All those disaster films were like, I'm done. After Twister, it's like, nah, that's it. We're good. Thank you. The Day After Tomorrow, all that horse shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I never bothered with that one. What was that one?
2012.
Never. Oh
yeah. That was ridiculous. That's the one with John Cusack.
I did see that, and it was terrible.
Every scene is by the skin of their teeth.
He chases the world. He runs from the world falling apart in a limousine. It's the most ridiculous scene ever.
I mean, if you're going to travel in style with Argyle from Die Hard driving that limo, right?
Yeah.
Kevin Israel, where can the good folks find you?
KevinIsrael.com for my dates. I'm at Foxwoods Casino up in Connecticut, usually every month. So check out my dates and hopefully more comedy coming in. Kevin Israel, like I said, .com. The struggle is real. And give us a 5-star rating and a couple sentence review on whatever platform you listen to us on. It helps. It means a lot to us. And we'll feature you on our social media because we love you so much.
Couldn't say it any better, so I'll just add an addendum. KevinGoatee.com, dates in there coming in as well. Guttingthesacredcow.com every day for blogs, merch, as we mentioned. If you want to advertise with us, you've heard ads already. Guttingthesacredcow@gmail.com. Check that out. We're on Clubhouse every Thursday night at 8, every Tuesday night, 9 Eastern Standard Time. We do our one joke workout room on Tuesday where we invite comics to come in and listen to them work out material. So if you're a fan of comedy, come on in, check that out. And Thursday night, we're talking film. So come on to Clubhouse and give us a looky-loo. But listen, thanks again for tuning in to Gutting the Sacred Cow. We love you guys. Thank you so much for all the kind words and shout outs and retweets and all that horse shit. We appreciate you. We love you to death. And we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So keep it coming, kids. And that's it. Next time, we'll take care and we'll see you later. Peace.